Hello, my friends. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Ah, it is a beautiful wintry day here where I am. Perfect time to do a bit of quiet practice, settling yourself into a comfortable posture. By this time, I am assuming that you are comfortable with the ideas of proper postural relationships. If you are new to these classes, welcome. Please do check down below for links to an introduction and to at least the first of this 100-day series, rather than starting in the middle. That can be a bit problematic for most people. And also links that will teach you how to do proper standing and seated posture. All of these classes are taught as a series, not just this 100-day, but this 100-day series is part of a larger arc teaching people about the proper use of their mind, about meditation methods, Qigong methods. And so by doing them in order, you unlock them one step at a time, rather than jumping into the middle, which, as I mentioned, just does not end well. So please do take your time. As you settle, remind yourself what the first thing that we do is. It's very common for us to carry our past into our practice. Sometimes it's just the momentum of the day, the tension that we have locked in our body from driving or from just waking up on the wrong side of the bed or something that happened during the week. But also often it's our expectations about what we demand from our practice, ideas about what we think practice should be like. Oh, I should be perfectly soft and calm like such and such person, or maybe I'm not good enough if I still have a sore shoulder or something. And we let all of that go, all of the baggage that we're carrying with us into our practice. We set it aside before we practice. Just toss it off to the side. You can pick it up on the way out. But for now, we leave it over there. You let it fall away. And so physically, we can allow those old spaces to fall away. Often tension is movement that got stuck in our body from a long time ago. And we just need to let it release out through our tissues to finish doing what it was doing. Maybe we had a big emotional reaction and we held our breath and we never quite let it go. Or, as I mentioned, we have an idea that's stuck about how things should be, which never goes well because life is never how we think it should be. So it just gets trapped in our body and in our mind. And we carry it around with us and we slowly collect this pile of expectations that builds up in our body, builds up in our psyche and our actions and our habits and our relationships. And so here we let it all go. Notice any of that that's collecting around your eyes, that space between the eyebrows, your jaw, the base of your tongue and throat. the sides and the back of your neck. Letting it all go. The head is released upward as it decompresses. Notice that as your neck and head are released, there's a sense of liveliness that is released. Often your senses become clearer, maybe colors become brighter. You might notice that it's just that much easier to be settled in the present moment with your mind becoming clear. Our body and our mind are one flow. It's easier to release the neck than try to clear away old thought patterns. Start with the easy stuff. The same thing, release your shoulders. Too many people walk around as though they carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. You just let it fall away. Your elbows sink and your wrists release. Your hands softening. And as you soften your shoulders, your arms, notice how that further releases your neck, but also starts to release your chest and your upper back. And it becomes a little easier to breathe. And again, a bit easier to settle into the present moment without distraction. You're more and more here as your chi sinks down. And you stop holding these old mental, emotional patterns in your body. You're just letting them fall away. You don't need them anymore. Releasing your solar plexus, your rib side, your mid-back. Softening your abdomen. That space beneath your floating ribs, wrapping all the way around to the lower back. Letting it all go. Your breath gets even easier. It slows and becomes deep and fine and subtle, more and more comfortable. Allowing everything to settle, further letting go of things you've been carrying around. Things that seemed important before now just seem frivolous and pointless, and you just set them aside. As your lower back releases and your tailbone naturally sinks, it becomes easier to relax your buttocks, your hips, your thighs. As you soften through your knees, all the way down through your feet, feel everything drop through your feet into the ground, like roots extending from your feet. And notice the feeling of actually being grounded, not just physically settled, but emotionally settled. All the drama falls away. The need to be someplace else falls away. And you're just here, rooted, relaxed. Anytime you feel yourself beginning to pick up the old things, notice where it's being picked up in your body as well. And once again, soften all the way down and through, letting it go, dropping that baggage, letting go of the drama and the noise, the ideas, the emotional momentum. And then here you are again, settled. When you need to, do it again. Letting go and letting go. And then letting go again. And as usual, just a reminder to make certain that your hips don't creep forward, your head doesn't fall forward. This is a very common sort of position. You don't let your shoulders round. Don't try to draw them back, lift them up. Avoid locking your knees. All of these habits that we have that tend to defend our emotional structure. There's some wonderful terminology around it called emotional armoring. And as you release these tendencies from the past, we tend to start hanging on to ourselves. And so notice that habit. Notice its relationship with your mind, your emotional structure, and continue to let it all go. Remember that the methods that I'm bringing up through this series as I point out, for instance, the future or other tendencies, other hindrances in our practice. The point of our practice is not to focus on those things, just to notice them. I'm just pointing out things that you can pay attention to for a moment, but we're always letting it go. We're always doing the most basic practice. We're just settling into ourselves, settling into the moment, the space around us, and letting everything go, letting everything be just as it is. I'll call your attention to something, and even that, you just let it go. We're just taking a quiet tour through the mind. Another 10 minutes or so of practice. closing when you're finished. Waiting for that sense of accumulation, of nourishment, of gathering, consolidation into the middle. Remember to only stand as long as it feels easy and open. There will be a point in most practice days, and every day will be different, that you'll start to notice your body condensing down and starting to push back and to hold on. And you're going, 2 more minutes. You should be stopping before that happens. Sit down, start the seated portion of the practice. Just keep meditating. But don't force your body into this condensing period. You don't want to give up as soon as it's uncomfortable. But you'll notice a time when now you're no longer practicing being open and soft and expansive, but you're practicing hanging on, and you'll just get better at that. So don't practice that. The second that you start to hit that moment of diminishing returns, sit down. If you need to, you can always take a couple moments and then stand back up again to see if you're returned to this easy open space. But don't move past that point. Eventually, you'll just be in this position standing on the openness. The open, expansive quality is enough to support you. You're standing on your chi. You're standing on your breath. It's the reason why I recommend people doing this moment of series after they've practiced for a little while, because you've started to learn how your body works. But please be careful not to push into those places. Otherwise, all you do is get better at hardening, and it makes it that much more difficult to progress. So be honest with yourself about how you're feeling at any given moment. Listen to your body and practice this gentle quality of expansion. This is what I mean by letting go of our expectations of our practice. We come into this, and I have this label on here, a whole half hour of standing. And maybe you've done a half an hour standing the last week, and you feel very proud of yourself. And so you come here, but after 15 minutes, you notice your body starting to go, maybe you're really tired, or it doesn't matter why. But now you're no longer practicing that open space that you were experiencing before. So what do we tend to do? We go, I'm going to do it. I did it yesterday. I can do it today. But now we've actually set ourselves back because we're hanging on to ideas about things from the past. And we want to let it all go. So instead, you listen to what's going on now and you say, I need to sit down. And maybe you stay seated for the rest of the hour. Or maybe you sit for 3 minutes and then get back up. Stand for 3 minutes and then sit down again. It's all perfectly okay. Listen to what's going on and respond. And over time, that experience of expansive, peaceful standing gets easier and easier. And that's what we want to practice. Don't cheat. Don't lie to yourself. Gosh. Such a beautiful life. getting to be with you and to share these practices and just some quiet time. Simply sitting here and sitting here. And that's all. Being here, falling into openness, discovering that you can be supported physically by that quiet openness. Mentally, you're supported, settled in this quiet open space. Emotionally, by letting go, you fall into this open, peaceful space. It's all through release. Quite wonderful. And so when I mentioned things like notice or pay attention to, in case of today, pay attention to the past. Look at the past. Don't notice those things. It's not a big deal. I simply want to help you learn to pay attention to various aspects of your nature, these disparate parts of the mind and your emotional structure that might otherwise get ignored. For instance, the same with your body. You might never notice your lower back when you're seated because maybe you're busy sitting on your lower back. So by calling attention to this space or this place here beneath, in front of your sitting bones here, your lower back opening and the space here, these mastoid processes back here opening and softening, your jaw releasing. These are perhaps things you've never paid attention to while sitting. They're not magical. It's not the point of sitting. But by noticing them for just an instant, we go, oh, there's something here to notice. And our capacity as practitioners expands a little bit. Expanding by letting go. And so today we're talking about this regret or anything that we're hanging on to from the past. Drama, baggage, stress, accumulations in our heart, in our mind, maybe in our shoulders. And we deal with it all the same way, not by processing it or thinking about it or feeling into it or none of that stuff. We just go and let it go, even if only for a moment. Sometimes that's enough. At the very least, it's enough for now. And so we settle. The breath is comfortable and full, not forced, released. Notice if there's spaces in you that are restraining the breath, constraining, restricting, constricting. And you do the same. You go, oh, I'm letting that go. And suddenly the breath is deeper, easier. The mind settles further because there's less in the way. Let's enjoy a little bit of that Song Jing practice, this comfortable releasing method. Scanning once again down through your body, letting go of anything that's hanging on. And equally, notice if there's qualities of your mind still lingering in the past, ideas of the past, because of course, you can't actually go to the past. Sometimes it's helpful to genuinely try. Maybe give this a try just for a moment. Genuinely try to go 5 seconds into the past, 10 seconds into the past. See what happens. Can you do it? If you can, give me a call. We have a lot to work through. You can also try going 10 seconds, 20 seconds into the future. Go for it. 1 minute into the future. It's not possible. The most we can do is really think about it and try. And our imagination gets involved. Our ideas and intuition get involved. But we are resting in the only place that is this present moment. The past and the future are just notions. And they're binding you up. They're keeping you from your actual experience. And so today, especially noticing if there's some sense of lingering in the past, You're still fighting with the past. You're still having an argument from 6 years ago. You're still feeling hurt over a breakup or a loss. You're still resenting somebody that cut you off in traffic or that said something not nice to you, or maybe you're just upset that your haircut doesn't look as good as mine. And you just let it all go. And we're here. And we're here. Songjing, letting it all go. At some point, releasing the Songjing practice, settling into the present moment. We're simply getting better at being here. No effort, no process, just this. And indeed, if you do find yourself lingering on some idea of the past or feeling some of it stuck in your body or in your emotions, notice it. Don't be interested by it. Just let it go. And it fades away on its own as best it can. And you fall back into the present moment effortlessly. Be effortless. As comfortable as you can possibly be. Just another 10 minutes of practice. If you notice your mind wandering away, remember that part of our practice is the way that we deal with those distractions, how we react. Retrain that response to be gentle and friendly. If it's in relationship with the past, perhaps be accepting. Acceptance is one way to heal. And it's just another way of talking about letting go. Softening not just around the eyes, but behind the eyes, if you can allow your awareness to sink inside your body. That's a skill that we develop more and more as we progress along the path. I know for some of you it's already easy. And if it's feeling very difficult for you, don't force your mind into your body. Don't push, cling, and strive. It's not helpful. It just gets in the way. You end up imagining things instead of actually feeling what's going on. But as you are softening your mind and softening your body, just know that it's possible to begin to be aware of what's going on inside. And just knowing that is often enough to start, I feel this, or I can notice this. The self-massage series that we did is really wonderful for that, placing your awareness just beneath the surface. And so if you haven't watched that, I highly recommend doing at least a little bit of that practice. You might find it very, very helpful. And in the meantime, as I mention, placing your awareness inside, make certain that you're not really trying to do it, because you'll only get in your own way. Just be aware that it's possible, for instance, to soften the space around and behind the eyes, to soften inside the throat, to let go of all of this pressure that we walk around with all of the time from the inside. But the method is still the same. The method is gentleness and friendliness, being easy. Just quiet attention is enough, and then the process develops on its own. If you try to force it anywhere along the way, it's just you're creating obstructions that later on you'll have to deal with. It makes it 10 times harder. It's been very cold and windy here, lots of winter storms, and so I've been spending more time warming my ears, warming the back of my head, the back of my neck, and so I wait until I have the sense of heat. Right now I feel heat as though my ears are almost glowing with it, and that can be a really healing thing to develop, especially this time of year. So I'll do the same thing here, this whole line. Being gentle, of course, if you have skin damage or abrasions, or you're somebody that has trouble feeling your own body, maybe if you're a diabetic or just numb. And so trying to rub until it feels hot can be dangerous for people who can't feel. So please be gentle and friendly. Shoulders are soft. You don't need to do this. Feels good. If you can't reach here, of course, you can ask a friend to help you do it. Sometimes that's the nicest way anyway. Or just use a hot pad, heat up and move this area. It's not quite the same, but it's better than nothing. Remember, as you move through this series, you don't have to follow me directly, especially once you get to know it, and especially if you've done that self-massage series. You already know 100 variations of these movements, and you should spend time on the ones that help you the most. Sometimes there are seasonal changes. Sometimes it's just you wake up with a stiff neck or shoulder, and so you spend extra time there. Please listen to what's going on. That's what all of this is about, learning to be appropriate and to listen, not to be caught in your ideas about things, getting free of that stuff. Up the outside, down the inside, all the way to the shoulder, all the way around to the fingertips. I'm trying not to hit the microphone here. At some point today, unless it's the very end of the day for you, but at some point if you have the opportunity, pay attention to your own relationship with your ideas of the past, who you think you are, how you think you have become, all of the things that we are attached to from the past that follow us through into the moment, a kind of momentum pushing us to how we're supposed to be or how we're supposed to feel. And see if you can soften around that a bit. For some people, of course, they're very much past focused. Other people are more future focused and the past doesn't bother them. We're all different. But we want to notice the way our mind is functioning and to get good at letting go whatever it is that tends to plague us, whatever thoughts or feelings tend to bother us. Notice your tendency, which is why I'm trying different things every day. And then, just like with letting go of what we've got going on in the body, oh, today this shoulder's sore. Maybe tomorrow it'll be this shoulder. And so I spend more time where I need it. And so you'll wake up one day and for some reason, you'll be really worried about the past or the future. And so you spend that day getting good at letting go of that particular issue, whatever it is. Notice your tendency. Learn how to heal that balance, that imbalance, and find yourself rebalanced in the present moment, just through letting go, not through using force. Develop the right method using and following the right principles, and you'll end up in a much better and healthier place. Thank you much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow.